The city of Brunswik, Braunschweig, is a traditional industrial center in northwest Germany. In the immediate vicinity of the main train station is a large research and production plant of the Siemens Group with 3,500 employees. It is the largest Siemens location for rail automation worldwide and, as Siemens Mobility itself says, a think tank for the digitized rail transport of today and tomorrow. State-of-the-art systems for the monitoring, control and scheduling of local and long-distance rail traffic are being built here. But the technological memory for the production of spare parts for older systems is also located in this place. This includes a robot-controlled warehouse for components and production facilities for printed circuit boards. Germany's railways have relied on technology from Siemens for many decades. It is no exaggeration to say that without the production of spare parts in these halls, operations on Germany's railways would hardly be possible. However, a different topic was the focus of a press presentation on July 5, 2022. A large number of high-ranking executives introduced the topic, which will also dominate Siemens' appearance at this year's Innotrans trade fair. The leitmotif is Destination Digital.
Always available, and we fix them at nighttime when they're not used anyways. Maximize network capacity. Again, that is of course a lot of IoT, knowing which point machine is working, which point machine has which capacity. But it's also cloud technologies. It's bringing all this data together, and that's, I think, particularly important when you look in countries like Germany, like Poland, like France, where you have a huge installed base out in the field that you need to manage perfectly on the infrastructure side to actually have a train run there every 2, 3, 4 minutes, which is possible with the systems we provide, but almost nowhere achieved. Yeah, and optimize the customer process. That's a lot about software. That's a lot about our intelligence and the cell phone looking for the best trip, about reserving a seat. The word that we created here, the slogan is SAP for Rail. Give a operating system to our customers, but also to the passengers, basically, to use a train more effectively.
Michael Peter sees the essential difference with the competitors in the railway industry in the fact that Siemens is an industrial group. As a result, solutions are also being created in many sectors of the company in the digital area that can be used in the mobility field. For this purpose, other important special companies have now been acquired and combined in a separate mobility software unit.
We put it at the availability of all the other business units in Siemens. And Siemens does the same. They spend, obviously, DI spends a huge amount on things like artificial intelligence, and they give us that knowledge. So there's a lot of knowledge in the company that other rail companies don't have, and we try to think about more methodologically about how can we put it to use in our industry.
Johannes Emmelheinz, CEO Customer Services Siemens Mobility, presented some digital use cases from the mobility sector.
What is also important to understand the development, the industry, the service industry, or put it this way, our customers and we jointly had to go through. We started really with the traditional maintenance, which was basically focused on time windows or on mileage kilometer basis. So after a given mile expiring, after a time period, you had to do maintenance. And maintenance told the operator, if you don't do maintenance, you are unsafe and you're facing a risk. The big change was then really thinking about in a different way, saying, okay, I go into the way of condition-based maintenance, I understand the asset, and I guarantee the availability. There's a time window at night, there's a time window at the weekend, there's a time window when I have slow operations because of the demand. And in this time window, you do the maintenance. A totally different ballgame. But if you do this right, you have a significant increase in capacity. And to prove this, it's really how we have evaluated through the different times, starting in 1855 with the first service contract, and now do a fast forward to 2018, where we really had the first full-blown digitalized service operation. And this was really a milestone, making this service operation end-to-end fully digitalized. So this means the trains are creating operation work orders in our life system.
Journalists from Belgium, Austria, Great Britain and Poland were also invited to the presentation. What were their impressions?
Bardzo jestem zadowolony z tego, że tu mogę być.
I am very happy to be here, to see what Siemens Mobility has to offer in terms of, let's call it very cautiously, the future of railways. I think it is also a great opportunity to present the journalists in this part of Europe a lot of news, not only in the area of new rolling stock, but also what is not such a hard product. It's not a train, it's not a coach, but also what is related to the broadly understood digitization. I would not like to be a spokesman for Siemens because I am a guest here. However, it is undoubtedly very interesting what Siemens wants to present in the area of ticket sales and that it is involved in this plot, as if noticing that it is a problem in Europe, that the problem is buying tickets not only for domestic connections, but also for connections internationally. Last year, Siemens Mobility added to its software sector Squills, a Dutch provider of software as a service solutions for inventory management, reservation and ticketing. The most recent acquisition is the French company Padam. It offers on-demand and paratransit software solutions.
Squills was founded in 2002 as a spin-off of one of the technical universities in the Netherlands. Our headquarters is located in Enschede, close to the German border. We are a pure software development company with a strong focus on technology and innovation. Over 80% of our staff has technical background and most of them are software developer. Back in 2006, we were working for the Dutch International Railways as one of their software suppliers. We identified that the industry lacked a standard configurable product for online booking train tickets. It was really hard by then to, for example, book a ticket for the Eurostar. And the idea was born to build a out-of-the-box standard configurable booking product software solution. And that's what we did. We started to develop S3 Passenger, and step by step more customers started to use it. S3 Passenger is a software as a service platform for inventory management, seat reservation and ticket distribution for mainline, rail and bus operators. Our customer community at the moment, we currently work for 35 operators around the world, most of them located in Western Europe. The majority of them and one customer overseas, which is Vierwil in Canada. I think our customer community currently is a nice mix of state-owned incumbent big operators, but also new entrants like Irio in Spain and Itabus in Italy. And this proves that the product is capable to handle all kinds of operators just with one code base.
So there are exciting solutions for many tasks in local public transport and rail transport. Why have these not yet been introduced in Poland?
Decydenci w Polsce mają ten problem, że nie korzystają z transportu publicznego. Nie wiedzą, jakie problemy dręczą pasażerów.
Policymakers in Poland face the problem of not using public transport on their own. They don't know what problems plague passengers in both international and long-distance transport or in urban areas. There are cities in Poland, there are whole agglomerations like the Gdańsk-Gdynia-Sopot region where buying a single ticket for a train, bus or trolleybus is still a problem. At this conference we clearly see that technologically it is not a problem to create a ticket generated by a single application that would be valid for all modes of transport. Here in Braunschweig there is also a lot of talk about the German €9 ticket. This is an endless subject, of course. Together with my colleagues from my editorial office in Poland, we asked ourselves whether such a ticket, a cheap ticket, would make sense in Poland. We quickly came to the conclusion that no, because there is no integrated offer of train, bus, trolleybus and bicycle in Poland. We can only develop it further. We still have a lot to do in Poland. And in Europe, we all have so much to do in common that there is no such application that would allow you to buy a ticket, for example, from Warsaw to Paris with a few movements of the keyboard, with a few movements of the fingers. Technically, this is not a problem. Trains run, trains work. However, we still have a problem with such a passenger experience, with the experience of the passengers in this area. In London, there is the so-called Oyster card for permanent customers. You need a lot of infrastructure to use them because you have to physically check in on a device with a card or smartphone. Nowadays, smartphones can also do this on their own, and we can use this to determine which means of transport you use and how much it costs. In case of doubt, the mobile phone is simply shown afterwards with a QR code to show that you have a valid ticket, but NFC signals can also be read, and these in turn can also be used when the smartphone is switched off. So in theory, depending on the control device, I can even see when my smartphone is switched off that I have just acquired access. Checking out afterwards is more complicated, but there are technical solutions for this too, so that you also can take people with you who suddenly don't have a charged battery anymore.
Zdecydowanie warto zapraszać nie tylko dziennikarzy, oczywiście my będziemy o tym pisać, to się będzie...
It is definitely worth inviting not only journalists to such presentations. Of course, we will write about it. It will spread the news about these digital possibilities, about the possibility of buying such a ticket. However, there is undoubtedly a lack of knowledge among decision makers about how easy it is when at the same time they do most of their daily activities on their own smartphones, and none of them will think how easy it is to buy a ticket. There are plenty of examples in Europe that it can work, that it can be implemented.
Jesteśmy w przededniu wprowadzania nowego systemu sprzedaży biletów w Intercity. Zmiany tego
We are on the eve of introducing a new ticketing system for the operator PKP Intercity. A change to this archaic system, which up to today manifests itself in the fact that you are printing a ticket on an old dot matrix printer.
Ciężko mi sobie wyobrazić, że przy okazji zmiany tego systemu...
We are on the eve of changing this system to a completely new one, and it is hard for me to imagine that the change of this system at the largest long-distance carrier in Poland would not introduce the possibility of traveling around the country on some application, a card, anything that would be common for the whole country. If this chance is exceeded, I suspect that we will have another chance like this in a dozen or so years, but at that time all public transport in Europe will be at a completely different level than we will have in Poland. There are tons of initiatives, but I have the impression that Poland, as a country where such initiatives are born, is still at the far end of Europe, and this is very dangerous. That is why we are talking all the time about the reduction of CO2 emissions. That should be absolutely the most important thing for us at this point. We are not talking only about the choice of transport, but about the fate of our children, because it is not known in what situation they will live in this climatic situation. As you can see, there are many tasks involved in promoting environmentally friendly rail transport. The manufacturers of new solutions now have to convince the decision makers that the innovations work reliably in all situations and bring real benefits. course, this is easier with signal technology office that have been in use for many years.
Most of you know ETCS ranging from level 1 to level 3 hybrid, all the interlocking business, all the onboard unit business. So we have a complete portfolio there as well. We have the product side. So we have a huge range of products from very, very old traditional products to the newest products that you can think of. And that is certainly because we're supporting our customers, not only on their journey in the future, but also on the systems that we sold to them 40 years ago. 50 years ago, maybe even earlier than that. And to the infrastructure, there is also something that is really important. We talk a lot about hydrogen trains and battery trains. It's all great stuff. But we are electrifying railways now since more than 100 years. And in Germany, at least, there is the ambition to go to 70% electrification, which apparently is a huge task in itself. But all this electrification comes from us for the rail.